Okay, and we are recording. Welcome, everyone, to episode 6 of I Am My Own Story. And today's guest, we have Stephanie. And she has been on previous podcasts. She was on Friendly Differences. And when Friendly Differences restarts, I hope to have her on again. So today, Stephanie is going to tell us. She is a success story, and she's going to tell us her story of addiction. And Stephanie, I'm just going to pass it over to you. So, I guess first I'll ask, how did you get from point A to point B? Is that a good way to start? I guess.
Um, like point A being like not doing drugs, and then point B full on, or point B being like full on drugs and then getting off.
Well, point A from not being on drugs to being on drugs
So
to getting off. So I guess A, B,
yeah,
C. I guess.
B. Um, actually, I didn't really start like doing like heavy drugs until like I was like in my late 20s, early 30s. Um, and how I started was I was married to my daughter's husband or my daughter's father, and he was away working a lot of times, and I was going to school at the same time, and I was just like really stressed and just tired all the time, you know. And they gave me some meth to try, and oh, this will pick you up, blah blah blah, and it did. And next thing I knew, I was full blown, doing it all the time. And I went over to a house to this guy that was cooking stuff, and his house was not very sanitary, and I just, I thought, and I watched him do the whole process. I was like, "Oh, I can do this. I can do this easily," and I did. And it was like clean sanctuary. And my reasoning at the time was, well, at least I'm giving my friends that are doing the drug a cleaner version of the drug. Just to let you know, when you're in a heavy addiction, you don't think properly at all. You can talk yourself into just about anything. And I was making it for quite a while, and um, but I never made the stuff in my house. I always had a babysitter for my kids when I was doing it, and they were at the house, and I was like in a travel trailer away, you know, so to where, because I mean, I was conscious, I was smart enough not to expose them to that, and in the long run, I mean, none of it is correct, I mean, that I know as it's coming out of my mouth. Well, like, I wouldn't expose my kids. Well, yeah, I did expose my kids because I was on the drug when I had them,
Mhm.
so they were exposed. Um, and how I got caught was my babysitter got pulled over, and she had some drugs on her, and they weren't even my drugs. That's the gasser of it all. I just look and go, see, because it wasn't even my drugs that she got caught with. But she knew my schedule. She knew, when I'd be cooking again, and so she set it up with the cops that the next time I did it, that they would come in and bust.
Now, was that in exchange for her getting off?
Yeah,
Okay.
you know. I mean it. I mean, I was wrong in doing it anyway. You know. Um, and the outcome, I mean, it could have been like way worse than what it was. I know you're going, how could it be way worse? The cops, kicking in your door and busting you. They could have caught me with a lot more than, because when they busted my door, I was actually technically not home. I wasn't. I was delivering what I just cooked to a person for them to get rid of it, and I wasn't home. Um, but I did turn myself in, and I didn't take it to trial because they had me dead rights. They had like all the ingredients and stuff. And I was lucky because I got in under the First Offenders Act, and it's like, um, I only had to do, well, I got sentenced to 2 years permanent and 2 years indeterminate, so a total of 4 years, which I would have had done all 4 years in prison if I messed up in prison and stuff and I didn't make parole. Luckily, I made parole at, the 2-year mark, barely, because I was supposed to go to the treatment tier.
Mhm.
And usually, if the judge writes in, recommended treatment, if you don't go to treatment, by the time you go to parole, they usually don't give you parole in Idaho. And Idaho is a zero tolerance state. They don't allow nothing. Um, and I, went to the prison and stuff. I went through all these things and actually got to go to the treatment tier. And then I got kicked out of the treatment tier like within a week. And I was
Why?
like, okay, I was freaking because I was all like, whoa, whoa, why are you kicking me out? I'm doing everything that you guys want me to do. And the counselor said, well, we sat down and we discussed it, and we don't feel that you need our treatment program. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? I got caught cooking drugs.
Wait,
Okay.
so
That's like a
okay,
sign of addiction.
but did they make that recommendation to the court?
Oh, well, no, yeah, they did when I went to in front of the pro board. They luckily the counselor said why they didn't let me finish
Oh, okay,
treatment.
okay.
Their treatment program was designed to help the the women learn to think critically and logically at the same time. How to change, like to think before they act and everything. Well, I knew what I was doing. I knew why I was doing it. And when I got busted and everything, when I pled guilty, I told him I was doing it. I told him why I was doing it. It nowhere along the line was my thinking, um, for it wasn't for a guy. I wasn't like, doing this
Mhm.
because I love, my guy and blah blah blah. It wasn't any of that. And the counselor said they said, you know how to think critically and logically. You know why you're here. I'm like, well, yeah, because hello. And so I did my prison sentence and everything, and then I got out, and I was clean for quite a while, and then
Okay,
um,
when you say quite a while, what is quite a while? 2 months,
I
a
was,
year, 2 years,
it was
four
about 2
years?
years. It was about two
Okay.
years, and then my brother passed away, and I wasn't equipped to deal with that at all. So I pretty much fell off the wagon. Um, my daughter was living with her dad at the time, so I mean, I didn't have any kids living with me, so it was like really, really easy for me to, you know, just go back to it. I was at a point where I didn't care. You
Now
know,
you're still in Idaho.
yeah, I was still
Okay.
living in Idaho,
Okay.
and well, no, actually, I moved to Washington State by that time, and I just was just, I'm talking like heavy on. I started dealing. I never cooked again, thank God. Um, But I started dealing again, and I was dealing like a pound a day, easy. And I did that for like a couple years, just heavy. And what stopped me was I was tired. I was tired of that life. I was tired of not trusting anybody, not having anything, just always, worried if the cops are going to come kick my door in. Um, I'd gotten pulled over like twice for driving without a license, and I skipped court and stuff. And if I turned myself in for that, and I did like 6 months, and they gave me that 6 months buffer that I needed to. Uh, everyone they used to say a snack and a nap.
Mhm.
And when I got out, Ross, my current husband, we were together all during the time I was using, and so was he. And he was there when I got out of jail, and I was really, really worried that, we were just going to fall back into the same pattern. And I told us, we have to leave. We have to leave Spokane, dude. We have to leave because if we don't, we're just going to, because everywhere we go, we know people that use, it'd be just too easy for people to be like, here you go, and for us to do it. So he agreed, and we called his younger brother, Billy, and Billy drove to Spokane and picked us up in his car. And we drove back to his mom and dad's house and stayed there for a little bit and got clean sober. I mean, we never did go to treatment. We just stopped
Mhm.
and started putting our life back together. That's exactly how we did it. And now it's like, oh God, years. Well, we've been together 16, about 15, 14 years now. We've been clean and sober.
That's good.
and living the high life, not the high life, but living a good life for us. Because
Hmm.
I mean, during that time of addiction, I mean, I was homeless. I'm not gonna lie. There was times when I was homeless, living in my car.
Well, Stephanie, let me ask this. I'm playing both sides here.
That's okay.
So when I was in school, the big thing for students to do when they were stressed out or trying to study whatever is they took that, I don't even know if they even sell it anymore, that no dose.
Yeah, no dose. Yeah,
Okay. But people were stressed. You have people who um husbands or wives are gone
mm,
and they're going to school. um you have people whose relatives pass away and they don't do
they don't.
drugs.
Yeah, they
So
don't do drugs.
okay, so
Um,
I'm just playing both sides here. So can
yeah,
you tell
yeah.
me?
What made me, make that jump?
Mhm.
Um, I a friend offered it to me, and I was like, I mean, I've smoked weed and stuff in the past and drank, and nothing ever came. Like once in a while, like
But
at a
okay,
party.
but taking meth, okay, like this. A friend offering you weed to smoke is one thing, and then to jump to meth. I mean, didn't somewhere in your head you were like, I'll just smoke a joint.
You know,
Okay, all right.
I just it I mean, I was alone up on the mountain by myself, and it I tried it, I was like, oh, but what the heck, and I didn't realize how addictive that it could be. That was like the big major part of it, because like I tried stopping, and then it was just like I don't know, it's like I was overly tired. Thank you, Jake. I love you too. And yeah, I didn't realize. I think that big part was I didn't realize how addicting it would be.
Now,
You
being
know,
in Idaho as with zero tolerance
zero
state,
tolerance.
did that factor into anything?
No, I thought I
Okay.
was smarter than the average bear. Um, and with meth, it's like when you're on it, you get like this god complex. You think that nothing can touch you. It's really bizarre. It's just crazy. And I did have like when I was younger, like in my teens, um, overseas, I was addicted to heroin for a minute or two. And I did get off of that thanks to my brother because he's like, we're not doing this anymore. And he turned his back on me, and I woke up.
Now, is that the brother that passed away?
Yeah.
Okay.
And and when he passed away, it just, for my relapse, I mean, yeah, people, I didn't care. It's just my world had ended. It was like, okay, I'm alone now. I behaved for this long, and this is what God does to me. Ah, you know, I didn't want to feel the hurt anymore. So I tried. I went back on it, and I think another turning point of it was like a year later. My dad showed up at my doorstep, and he was all like, Steph, you can't kill yourself off on meth. He goes, you'll just overamp, pass out, and then you're still high when you wake up. So stop trying to do it. And I looked at him, I was like, what? What do you mean? I'm not on. He's like, don't even. And he laid the boom down that he knew what was going on. And when I went back to jail for the driving incidences, he came and saw me. He told me, he goes, um, he apologized for not reaching out during that year when after Anthony died. It's like he admitted he left me out by myself, stranded, because he didn't know how to deal with it. I imagine, well, now hindsight being 2020, yeah, he had a lot of guilt going on, a lot. And, it to me, um, if you want to stop, I mean, you can, as much as you want an addicted person to stop whatever their addiction is, they're not going to stop until they want to stop.
Well, that's with anything. That's with drinking, with
Yeah.
smoking, with, I mean, unless you want to stop. So did your family ever do an intervention like you see on TV, like you come home and
No.
everybody's sitting there, you know?
No.
Okay, Stephanie.
70, you're a bad girl. No, that my dad pretty much showing up on my doorstep saying, "Hey, um, you can't kill yourself," you know, was his intervention. You
Okay.
know,
So
um,
what was it that made that light bulb finally just really like it just went off and I'm just not doing this anymore?
just when people were waking me up at 3 o'clock in the morning for a bag of dope, I just got tired of it. Um, I wanted to be a part of my daughter's life, and I wasn't allowed to be a part of her life, hello, because I was high all the
Mhm.
time. Um, and I want to be part of my son's life, and I know I couldn't be because, oh, wait a minute, I was high all the time, and I just got tired of it. I wanted something better. I wanted something more, and I could feel myself, you know, either going back to prison for a really, really long time because my second offense, they're not going to play around with me. Um, and I didn't want it to kill me. I didn't want it to. I was just done. I wanted, I mean, yeah, I didn't I was making money, but as fast as I was making it, it was gone. That's why I
Mhm.
always say, drug money, it isn't real money. Because
So
whatever
we're
you get with it, it's gonna be gone.
well, yeah, that this is true. This is true.
Yeah, even if
Um,
you get
were
out.
people were your customers pissed off at you when you got out? Like who are we
So
supposed to go to, or were they
I mean,
upset?
I'm sure there was a couple of them, but I really didn't associate with them anymore.
Okay.
It's like I moved. There was a couple, and there was a couple people that actually worked for me
Hmm.
that you know um that uh they're all but one. A couple of them, are the ones that are clean, like Eric and Pitbull. Um, there's some that work for me that I still keep in contact with, but they're clean now. And, we still talk sometimes, about, hey, remember back when, blah, blah, blah.
Hmm.
But we all agree that, we're way more happier clean and sober, you know. So and like for two of them, it was me getting clean and sober that they decided, oh, well, if she can do it, I can do it. Um,
So how many years were you on drugs?
total, oh, probably about 10.
10. Okay, so
No, yeah, about 10.
if you were not using for those 10 years, how do you see your life being different?
I'd have a whole lot more money. Wouldn't be starting from the bottom, that's for sure. Because that's what happens, when you get clean, it's like you pretty much have to start again, because um unless you're fortunate and still have a house and stuff, wouldn't you? But yeah, usually that isn't an option, you know. Um
So, okay, I want to ask a question that may sound,
it-
well, it is stupid. It is a stupid question.
it's a
I think
question.
it's stupid, but it may not be. Is there a such thing as is there a difference between a poor user and a rich user? Meaning, not that the rich person has the house, the cars, blah blah, the money, whatever, but in terms of your frame of mind, do you think that people
There's
who are rich see it differently? Like their outlook is different?
sometimes I think like if they're like, if they have money and stuff, they think that it's okay. I don't know, it's like it's okay, like because I call those functioning addicts. Okay. It's like the functioning alcoholic, you know. You
Mm-hmm.
really don't know that they're an alcoholic, you know, because you don't know them behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's just like they have enough to maintain, that sense of normalcy.
Mm-hmm.
But in reality, it's like, yeah, they're not normal. You know, they're taking shots at the beginning of the morning. Of Jack Daniels or whatever,
Mhm.
or a functioning drug addict. They're maintaining a job and a life and stuff, but they're still doing drugs.
Mhm.
To maintain them. You know, that's the difference, I think. You
Did
know,
you ever have a role model while you were trying to get off, like somebody that you looked at and said, you either took advice from them, or I want to be like you, or this is what I strive to be. Like, did you ever have anybody who you could kind of look to kind of?
no,
Okay.
no, it was just me and Ross were just we wanted a life, wanted not to be what we were at that time.
Are you
You
a
know,
role model for someone else?
I don't know. I hope I am.
Okay.
I mean,
All right.
I try. Um, yeah, I probably am for some people because I mean, I know people that are still addicted and stuff. Um, and I tell tell them, say, well, anytime you want to get clean, look me up. Uh, but as for, I mean, I don't know. I think
Have
everybody's
you have you ever worked at a rehab center?
no.
Would you someone offer you a job as a counselor? Would you?
Yeah, I probably would, because you know, I don't want people to make the same stupid errors I did. You know, and um, I think uh, drug counselors that were addicts make the best ones because they know, you know, they know that high. I mean, someone that's never done drugs, when you're sitting around in group saying, oh my God, blah 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 about this drug, they have no clue. They don't understand, the experience of the high, um, and everything that goes with it. But if you have a counselor that used to do drugs, they know exactly what you're talking about, and they know every excuse. It's like you can't pull shit on them.
No, I mean I agree with that 100%.
Yeah,
I have said many times, where I've said until you've gone through it, you don't know whatever.
yeah.
And the
Do
hardest
you watch
drug
them
I've
too?
ever done was smoke weed, whatever. So and
Yeah,
I was
California,
that
no, it's
person.
legal there, so
Well, yeah, but I mean, you have a very good point, because until you've done it, you don't know. So why do you think, with all the stuff that's going on in today's world, which is just a
a
lot,
lot.
just a lot, do you think that, I don't want to say the government, because I don't like when people say the government, the government, the government, the government, because and you've heard me say this before, individual responsibility.
Hmm.
Why do you think it is that we have younger people using, and I'm talking about where it's in our grade schools now? Is it is easier to get? Are they more stressed out? Their
I think
parents
it's
don't
easier to get,
care, or
and parents don't care, or the parents are using a lot
so
of
do you
times. That's
think that these
what they do.
kids are getting it from home as opposed to
Probably some of
Johnny
them.
Johnny on the school? The sixth grade boy is bringing it. Whatever he's dealing.
Yeah, I think more like in the younger ones like that. I think it's like a kid got it from like their parents or something, and the kids maybe get together in a group and try it, just to see what it is, and then like it's a downhill spiral from there. Especially if they get like quote unquote an addictive drug.
Now, let me ask this, because this is one thing that I don't think, and I'm only saying this, I'm using myself as an example. Um, when I was growing up, um, if my parents knew I smoked weed, I would not, I would not be sitting here today. Now, having said that, um, I was offered coke.
Mhm.
Oh, try it. You should try it. Nope, nope, nope. Not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. So why do you think? I mean, do you think it's more peer pressure and you just not being able to say no, or do you think that it's I would like to try this?
With me, it was, "Oh, I think I'll try it," just to try it, because I'm an idiot like that.
But how much do you think you know just your regular day to day going
I
to
was like,
school that is peer pressure as opposed to if I
maybe
say
peer
no,
pressure.
then people are gonna call me, or you're just I'm gonna say the word, people, you're just a pussy, you're a wuss,
Yeah, no,
whatever,
it's
and
peer
they don't want
pressure.
to. Okay.
Yeah, and you'd be like a lot of peer pressure.
So, do you think that one of the ways to help younger people, first and foremost, is for them to give somebody the finger if they're about to call you a wuss and keep
Yeah,
on doing what you're doing?
yep. Just, yeah, if someone's, like, trying to pressure you, say, "Hey, look, you know what? Obviously, you're not my friend
Hmm.
because you're, trying to make me do something I really don't wanna do." Um, yeah, I mean, I was fortunate because both my children, I think Alex said he tried weed once, and he goes, "I don't like the way it made me feel," so he didn't ever do it again, and I think that was because, they both seen what it did to me and, you know, um, and didn't even attempt things.
Okay, so let's talk about that for a moment because I was going to ask you how your kids reacted whatever, and they saw how it affected you and they didn't want to
Mm.
go down that road. So why do you think you have some kids who see how it affects their parents and they go down that road and they're in the same position as their parents?
Because they don't know any better. They don't,
Okay,
they're
so
locked in a cycle.
but why did your kids know better? I mean, like you said, they didn't like the way it made them feel. They saw what it did to you,
Um,
so
because they knew me without it,
okay.
you know? Um, and yeah, they just didn't, I don't know, I'd have to ask Jade that, I mean,
Mhm.
um, yeah, I think it's because, they just were more intelligent than,
Okay.
I'd say, yeah,
Okay.
both
All right.
more intelligent than I
Okay.
am.
So do you think that this may be another stupid question, but do you think drug use is worse than alcohol or it's just a different type of drug? And when I say alcohol, I'm not saying you're having a glass of beer, a glass of wine, you're
Yeah,
an
no,
alcoholic.
um, it's it's um excessive use of anything is a bad thing.
Hmm.
Whether it be exercise, some people says, well, I'm not, um, but they're the ones that are like at the gym, uh, working out like excessively. Anything excessive is an addiction.
Okay. All right.
Um, and I mean, yeah, it's still an addiction. I learned that, in
So
treatment.
can you spot an addict, like somebody if they were just that clean cut person, whatever? Would you be able to say they're using? I mean, is there something about them?
Sometimes you can tell, um, but unless it's like really blatantly like obvious, you can't. That's what's really weird about the drug. If I told you, I used to have a judge that used to come by shift. I kid you not, and that used to blow me away. At the time, I was like, oh well, if I ever get in trouble, the judge, yeah, no, that didn't work. But they just deny it, walk away. But you'd be surprised at how many people, like, from different walks of life use it. I mean, it really is an epidemic. You'd be really surprised on how it fingers have gotten in so many different walks of life. It isn't just, this group over here or that group over there. It's spread into like everything.
Well, that's that's with everything, and that's why when people are labeled. It's like what they're doing over there in that neighborhood, they're doing over there in that neighborhood. What
That
they're doing in
neighborhood.
that
Yep.
house, they're doing in that house. So,
Mm.
I guarantee you. So, all right, I have to ask this. When you smoke weed, you get munchies. When you do meth, do you get munchies? I mean, do you?
No, not really. With meth, you have no appetite and you stay up for days. When I say days, I mean um like 2 weeks without sleeping, and that's where it messes with you because your body cannot survive that long without sleep, without it start doing weird things.
Okay, so so if you're up for that long and you say you have no appetite, I mean, you have to have something to eat. I mean, you
Well,
want to
yeah,
have.
yeah, but it's like very minimal.
So you wouldn't sit down and eat a turkey dinner.
Oh no,
Would
you
you
may
throw up? I
think at it.
mean, would it make you sick? Would you throw up or anything? Or
Oh no, you're just not hungry.
are you thirsty at all? I mean, are you drinking excessive amounts of water or anything like
No,
that?
no. A
So
lot of people.
what's the
That's well,
longest?
that is one way. I guess that is a one way to tell, like, if they're like really dehydrated and not.
Well then your dad was wrong. Then you could kill yourself from meth, from just from the effects, right?
Well,
From
yeah, yeah, that's how you kill yourself, but it's like a long term deal. I mean, there are times when like my stomach would be grumbling and I feel
mhm.
hunger pains. It's like, oh, when was the last time I ate? Oh, well, and then I eat something,
And
but
I
it
take
wasn't
it when
like,
you were eating, it wasn't healthy either, was it?
no, no. That's why most meth heads, are like really, really skinny and, because it eats away at your body, because you're
So
not
what's the
eating,
long
you're not drinking.
what's the longest that you've stayed awake
I think 2 weeks was my limit.
until you finally just passed out or you just dropped?
Yep, I fell
So
out.
how long were you sleep or out?
I don't know.
I mean, was it days?
I think it was like a day and a half, something like that.
That's all? I mean, I'm saying
Yeah.
that's all because for you be awake for so
Yeah,
long,
you
I
would
would
think that.
think
Yeah,
that you,
no, that
yeah,
was
that
it.
you would just go into a deep
No,
sleep.
that was it.
Okay. All right. I can't imagine. I mean, because I know that I stay up very late. Sometimes I don't go to bed until like 3, 4. Then I'm up at like 7, whatever. Um, it's something that my body's used to, but every so often I will take a nap, whatever. But I cannot imagine just not
They're just staying up for just days.
days. Because even if I went to bed at like 12, I would be able to lay down and I would be able to go to sleep. But you're not able to do that.
Yeah, no, when you're on drugs, it's like you're like, yeah, you can't.
So when you went to court the first time and you turned yourself in, you were using.
Yep.
Okay, so they immediately sent you to prison. You went
Yeah.
like
Oh
from
yeah.
okay. So how did you function those first couple of days if you weren't? I mean, weren't you going through some type of withdrawal and what have
Oh yeah.
you?
Well, okay. When you stop using, right, then I don't know. You sleep for like days. It's like you're tired. You know, and you stay tired because you don't have that drug there to make you untired. And yeah, and then you start eating again. You know, um, with Ross, I mean, it was like you sleep and eat. That's all you do, sleep and eat, and then you go through. It isn't
But
isn't like like heroin where like your insides is coming out through your stomach, and stuff like that. Isn't like that kind of deep.
but if it's taken away from you suddenly, is there some type of withdrawal that you're going through?
A lot of people get aggressive. They're just cranky, I guess. Um, it depends. It depends on like how big of a hold it's got on them. You know. Um, yeah. It just I would say it was easy for me to walk away with because I just decided no, I don't want to do this anymore. I for like yeah, first 2 weeks I took a lot of naps. I was like pretty much if I wasn't eating, I was sleeping. You know, and then after that, you just start. Step one. Okay, what are we gonna do? Okay, and then you decide what step one, two, three, four, and you just go through the steps. Um,
So Washington State, what is their? Are they a zero tolerance? Are they? I mean, what
oh no, now they have like recreational weed,
from in
but
Washington State?
yeah, in Washington State. Idaho, yeah. No, if you get caught with weed, check it out. You may go to prison over that joint. They don't play around.
So if you were in Washington State as opposed to Idaho, do you think that the results would have been different? Meaning you would not have gone to prison. You wouldn't have. They wouldn't have.
No, I still would have been in prison. They
Do you
don't put
think
mine on making meth. Any of this, they're not.
so? Do you think that it still would have been the same sentence, or you think it would have been harsher,
I don't know.
easier?
I don't know. I actually got away pretty easy because it was my first time offense and all of that. Um, when I first, got arrested and everything before I went to my sentencing and stuff, I mean, I was looking at like I thought for sure I was going down for at least 5 years, at least.
I thought you were going to say something like 20. I thought you were going to say 20 years or something.
You know, um, my second offense now, like if I got out and then went right back to doing it
Hmm.
and got caught again,
Hmm.
um, mandatory minimum would have been 10 years. Mandatory minimum means you got caught, you're guilty, you're not doing less than 10 years, doing 10 years at least.
So, what's the third strike like then in Idaho?
I don't know. His second strike, and then and that isn't just like on um the drug thing. That was just on like because it was meth. I mean, it had like a whole little separate rules for manufacturing. It's yeah, they don't care. I mean, I don't know what the laws are in Washington, but yeah, I know in Idaho they don't play around. And I don't think they really play around in Washington State either. Because I know people that's gone and they're just like, yeah, but they don't play around, and their
Okay.
parole like really hard. Yes, I love
I'm
me
just
Jake.
laughing. I'm just laughing and joking. For any of you guys, if you follow Stephanie on TikTok, she's the only crazy lady, or Instagram, the only crazy lady.
Yeah,
You will get to know Jake. You will get to know Jake, her beloved dog. And I
yeah.
have to ask a question about Jake. 'Cause this is a question that I have planned on asking you. So I'm glad Jake is here and people can see how much this dog loves you.
I know he
Um,
does.
he loves you a lot. So, which I'm very happy of because, as you know, I am a dog lover, huge dog lover. How much has Jake helped you stay sober? I mean, has he been like that type of
Yeah,
therapy for
he,
you?
he is one that Jake, come on, boo. He does. He helps me. You especially as my son passed away 2019, and there were a couple times where I mean he made me get out of bed.
So,
When
how
I was
long
going to
have
get out of
you
bed,
had Jake? How long have you had him?
about 6 years old now.
Okay. So,
Mhm.
is Jake your dog? When I say your dog, you know how you have the family dog, but the dog
Yeah,
is
no, he's
loves
mine.
one. He's your dog.
He's my dog. He's also my service animal.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
he helps me. As you know, I mean, I was in a motorcycle accident, and
Hmm.
it now that I'm older, it's been like several years since my accident. Um, the bruises where my I have bruises on my brain, and where they're at, it's just like I my equilibrium goes off at a drop. I drop notice, and I have like these they call them they're like brain seizures. Where I can't move and stuff. I'm not like shaking really bad. I'm not having a grand mal, but I can't talk or anything. And he actually senses, he knows them before they happen. And he
Hmm.
alerts me. He's like, "Hey, you need to like find a safe spot, mom." And he alerts me that. And when we live at the Gorge and we have concerts here. If I didn't have Jake, I probably wouldn't be able to go down to any of the concerts because I probably get stuck, you know, there. And yeah, he, you know, tells me, "Okay, mom, we need to go away from the stage and go over to the dark area." And yeah, and then and he always walks me home,
Well,
has
let
me
me.
right home.
Well, okay. So let me ask this. So when you had your accident,
Hmm.
why didn't you start using again? And did
But
they prescribe drugs for you? They had like
I
painkillers or something?
really don't remember. Like 2 years after the accident,
Okay.
um, I have like what they call Swiss cheese moments, where
Hmm.
like I may like remember something that may have happened in the 2 years, but it's not like
Hmm.
any kind of timeline frame.
Okay.
Um, uh,
I
I
mean,
don't know.
I asked that because that's a traumatic event that,
Yeah,
so like why not then, but, you
I think
know,
part of it was because my brother was there. You know,
okay. Okay.
um, yeah, I mean, he was still in the military, but I remember him, calling me and saying, "Hey, what are you doing?" And stuff. And when I lost him, it was like I lost, you know, growing up, it was like me, my dad, and my brother. My dad was always gone doing, military stuff. So it was
Hmm.
always me and Tony, just
Hmm.
always the two of us. And
Was he
yeah,
your older brother,
yeah,
younger
he was an
brother?
older brother.
Okay.
And I don't, it just, I wasn't prepared for it, to
Okay.
be honest.
Is he your only sibling?
Well, I have two older half brothers, and I have a younger half brother, a younger
Okay.
one, Scotty.
Okay.
Um, and he checks in on me, you know, and first one time he goes, "I really didn't like you when you were on drugs." And I was like, "Okay, well, okay, I understand that. I really didn't like myself either." But yeah, he was concerned. Like after my son died, he goes, "Well, he goes, am I gonna have to like come up there and kick your butt or something?" I'm like, "No, no. Um,
Okay.
I got, I had Ross there, making sure I didn't slip, and because there's
But
times too
but
where I thought about it.
Jake has been with you through
Oh
both
yeah.
through. Okay, so
Well, no, my Jake hadn't been he wasn't with me when I had my brother passed away.
no. Okay,
When
so
my son passed
he
away,
wasn't with you when you were using at all?
no,
Okay.
Jake's
All
never
right.
known me to use it.
All right. Because my question was going to be, because I do believe that animals can sense this.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
what is your problem? Like
Hmm.
seriously, so
Yeah, no, he does help me, because he makes sure I, get up and move, and he just has this look about him. It's like,
can I tell you, and guys, I know I'm going off topic here about Jake, but first time I saw Jake when you posted something you had posted, and I'm looking at this dog, and then I'm scrolling through your feed, and I'm looking at other stuff, and I'm scrolling through whatever. And again, I don't know this just because I'm a dog lover or what, but I'm like, this dog is just chill. This dog is just cool.
oh, he
This
is.
is, he is just you know, he's a cool dog. But
He
yeah,
doesn't know he's a dog.
and I'm glad that he has a pet parent that loves him, because we
Oh,
know that all people do not treat their
yeah.
animals well.
Yes,
So,
I love you. He's my boy.
so well, Stephanie, that's all I have. Is there any last word you would like to leave for anyone that's listening, or just
Life is hard, and it's rough, and it's never fair, but you can get through it. Seriously, you can get through it. Every day that you wake up, it's a new day, and you can get through it.
Can you
You may
give
not
someone advice on how they can get through it if they don't have someone, if they don't have a support system?
love yourself because it. Don't give up. That's the thing. Always say, don't give up because if you give up, then you're done. You know, that's with anything. Give up. Just don't give up. Don't ever give up. That's yeah. Don't give up.
Okay.
I mean, it may be hard, but if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. You know, and just don't ever give up. It does get
Okay.
better eventually, somehow.
Yeah, it does get better, like you said, eventually.
Eventually, after hard
Well,
work, you know. And
okay.
it takes you twice as long to remove your head from your butt as it took you to put it up there. I use that as a guideline too. So
I'm gonna have to use that. That is a very that's a very good term. You're right. You're right. That is true. That is true. Well, everyone, again, I want to thank Stephanie for coming on and being so open.
mhm.
I didn't expect her to be this open, but she was open. I appreciate it. So
I always
until
try to
next
be open.
time, until next time, everyone, I will chat with you later. Peace.
Hi.